So this is my week 6 assistive technology presentation. Um, so for my presentation, we really did focus on a variety of different things. So first of all, what is assistive technology? Assistive technology is essentially anything that's going to help increase, maintain, or improve the functional capability of a person with disabilities. So, to paraphrase that, that can be anything that helps somebody perform in a more functional way if they have some sort of physical or mental obstacle that's stopping them from reaching the environment or materials that they're trying to use. And technology doesn't necessarily have to be tech, right? So it can be low tech, meaning just a communication board made of fuzzy cardboard or fuzzy felt. It could be a whiteboard to write stuff down in. It could be high tech, so an augmented system that helps you speak. It could be a special purpose computer. It can be hardware. So, a prosthetic for somebody with a missing limb, mounting systems or positioning devices for people who have limited mobility. We can also apply specific computer hardware for people who have low mobility. So, it can be an ergonomic keyboard, special switches, pointing devices if they're not able to point. Could be software such as a screen reader or a communication program. So when we're looking at computer software as an educator, I immediately think of like the speech to text or the text to speech functions that are available for students to use. Assistive technology can be inclusive or specialized learning materials or curriculum aids. These are most likely going to be low tech things. So, graphic organizers can be considered an assistive technology. It's a way to help somebody reach the curriculum. It helps them um, improve on their executive functioning, right? Specialized curricular software and so much more. It can be electronic devices, iPads, wheelchairs, walkers, braces, educational software. It could be power lifts. It could be a specific pencil holder, like a pencil grip. It could be those little chewy things um, that a lot of individuals with autism who have sensory motor issues. It could have eye gaze and head trackers. Um, so those are just like assistive technology is an umbrella term to address a wide array of tools that individuals can use. Um, so assistive technologies that doesn't have to be digital or specialized. Absolutely not. Some examples of high tech assistive technology refers to more complex devices or equipment, and it can have a digital or an electronic component, most likely. It can be computerized, and it will likely require moderate to intense training and effort to learn how to use, and it's going to cost the most. Low tech is going to be devices or equipment that don't require training. They may be less expensive and do not have complex or mechanical features. For example, I didn't fill that in. For example, we can use graphic organizers. We can use um, PECs, right? PEC systems. They're going to require limited amounts of training in order to use these. Um, So, some examples of our high tech assistive technology power wheelchairs and scooters. They're going to require a moderate level of training to know how to help a person with a power wheelchair use that, or the individual using the wheelchair is going to be need to be trained. Digital hearing aids, while it might sound simple to just put it in and hear, there might be some maintenance that you're going to have to do. So you're going to require some moderate level of training on how to turn it on, turn it off, adjust volume, take hearing breaks if it's a cochlear implant. Computer with specialized software such as voice recognition or a magnification software. So I've had to train several of my students on how to use the text to speech or the speech to text. Um, and usually takes 2 to 3 lessons before they catch on. So I'd say that would be a moderate amount of training. Electronic aids for daily living, digital hands-free headsets, voice-activated telephones. These are all going to require some sort of training. let's see, communication devices with voices, Bluetooth integration, and DigiDrive technology. So, like operating a vehicle with a joystick. So, those are going to require some training. They're going to be a little more high cost and high end, and more mechanical, more computerized, more digital. That's why they would be under the high tech category of assistive technology. And then we have some mid level tech. Um, so the items on the previous slide are considered high tech, but in the classroom, a lot of things that we use are going to be middle ground, right? Maybe a little bit of training, easy to implement, and sometimes referred to as high tech. But since they may not cost a lot and they may not require intensive training, you're going to use things like a talking spell checker, or even the how to use the spell check on a Google Docs or a Word document, manual wheelchairs, electronic organizers, so like digital planners or digital graphic organizers, closed caption TV, how to turn the closed captions off and on, amplifiers for voices. I know a lot of teachers are using those these days, books on CD or audiobooks, environmental control units, different types of mice and computer keyboards, and alternative communication devices. These are all used within the classroom, and they're more middle tech. Some of these you can get for free, or they're embedded into programs, but they do require training. So they're either going to be training intensive or a little bit more digital, which is why they're kind of middle ground. Now, if we look at the low tech, handheld magnifiers, large print text, using paper and pen to communicate, or even a whiteboard, canes and walkers, reachers, grabbers, specialized pen or pencil grips. These are going to be very low cost, don't need training if at all. So they're not going to require a lot of effort to implement in an environment or in a classroom. Here's more examples of high tech and low tech. So, if we are looking at just communicating, our high tech option would be an AAC, where our low tech option would be a PEX. If we're looking for academics, so the high and mid tech, we're looking at that audiobooks, the speech to text, the text to speech, alternative keyboards. And then our low tech options, highlighters, underlining things, graphic organizers. So you're not going to, so this is the difference between like a high tech and a low tech when we're addressing academic areas of concern or cognitive areas of concern. And here are the references I used. I used Autism Speaks. A lot of information came from there. And then I used an article from Finch, Low Tech, Mid Tech, and High Tech Assistive Technology, on the website called Autism Adventures. I also used the Ira Center, and then another article on Reading Rockets, Assistive Technology for Kids with Learning Disabilities.